Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me again on another episode of Erin on Education. And today we have a great and talented and intelligent special guest, Jonathan Blanchard. How
Well,
are
thank
you?
you. I'm good, and you?
I'm great. I'm great. Thank you for
Good.
taking time out of your busy schedule because I know you have a lot going on, and we would love to hear about what it is you're doing. So please tell us.
Okay. Well, first, it's an honor to be here. Thank you for keeping us in mind. I am John Blanchard, the CEO and founder of STEMletics. We at STEMletics combine STEM concepts, so that's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics with sports training. So we kind of show students how science can be used to help them improve their athletic abilities. We use technology to kind of show some of that science, and then we show math, how math correlates with different stats in sports. So our whole goal is to get students interested in those STEM fields through the sports that they love.
Okay, and that's awesome because I know we'll get into this later, but I know you are starting with basketball, and I know eventually you're going to start going more into other sports, right? Like you said.
Yes,
So,
yes.
what other sports do you hope to kind of, or you're probably doing it already though, or are you doing more basketball?
Yeah, so right now our programs are more revolved around basketball. In the future, we will be branching off to baseball, soccer, football, even volleyball. So they all have some science and technology and math statistics that can help students see the connection between STEM and their favorite sport, whatever that may be. So
Awesome.
yeah, basketball is kind of the gateway to other sports.
That's great. So, okay, I want people to know, because I know you've done interviews before, but for people that don't know, what inspired you to start doing this? Like, tell us that moment you're like, oh, I'm going to make this thing happen.
Yeah, so it's an interesting moment actually, and I love telling this story. I was just sitting in my dorm room at Kettering University one day, and kind of just blowing off some steam, doing what I do best, which is playing NBA 2K. I think it was like 2K14 at the time, so it was a while back. But
Almost maybe like 4 years ago or something?
Yep. So after every game that I play, I always look at the box score, check my stats, see who shot the best. And then, while doing that, I kind of came to the conclusion that, I can teach students how, math relate to basketball and statistics and sports. And so it kind of grew from there. And from there, kind of added the science, the technology, engineering, and math, and just made it full STEM-centric. And, ever since then, kind of took it, grew it, evolved it, and now it's finally starting to come to a well-tuned machine.
Yeah, that's so cool. I don't know a lot of people that are doing what you're doing. I know a lot of people are interested in STEM, but taking that perspective from sports to STEM is really cool.
Yeah, and it's a unique connection because a lot of students don't realize that there's STEM involved with anything in life,
Right.
whether it's sports, whether it's the weather. No matter what it is, there's always some aspect of STEM involved. And so just showing them the connection between that can help them later on if they want to decide to go into, sports analytics or, engineering where they create sports inventions, which is actually something that we do in our program. So, just showing them the connection is, I think, a vital piece of the program.
Awesome. So tell us, you actually have a camp going on right now.
Yes.
And you had one earlier this summer. So tell us about,
Yes.
Last summer and compared to this summer, how the camps are doing.
So, last year I think we finally got down a good structure, and like I said, it's evolved over the years. So last year we introduced the engineering side of it, where we had students come up with their own sports inventions using the engineering process. And this year we kind of took that on, and now we're kind of taking it to a new level where they're coming up with their sports invention, but it's not only an idea, but we're helping them get the resources such as organizations like Flint Soup, Factory 2, 100K Ideas in the community, to help take their ideas and actually, do something with them, get the funding, get the resources, create prototypes, and have that resource so that they can take their idea and, move further with it.
Awesome. So can you tell us a little bit about that, with the Flint Soup, how that went? And I remember you telling me last summer you were getting that ready. So has a kid done something really cool and they've got something going?
Yes. Kids always blow me away with their innovativeness. And, I feel like that's something that we as adults kind of get away from.
Yeah.
But, they're not scared, and they, kind of throw themselves out there. So last year, a student came up with a pitching machine that could help you with your fielding as well. So it could throw you pitches, or you can use it to, get ground balls, pop-up flies, straight flyouts, to help you with your fielding as well as with your batting. So they pitched that at the Flint Soup, and that group won. And they took that money, and both of their parents are engineers, ironically.
Oh, wow.
And, they helped them actually create a working prototype. So, we kind of try to keep in touch with them to kind of see where they are. But, I thought that was really neat how they kind of took their idea, took the funding, took the resources, and are actually working on creating their prototype. So, that really inspired me this year to, like I said, reach out to those different organizations who have the resources that can make their inventions a reality.
Right.
So that's one of the biggest things between last year and this year is I want students to go forth with their inventions and come up with the prototype and learn, what's the best way to get this to market.
Yeah, that's cool. And even, they could even potentially be on Shark Tank one day, maybe.
Oh yeah.
And then, of course,
that would be my ultimate dream, to see some of my students on Shark Tank.
That'd be great. And even starting here at 100K Ideas, because we have that kind of business model going here in Flint, so they can just start here, and, instead of going to Shark Tank, which would be cool.
Exactly.
So that's really awesome. Okay, so I know you have two other buddies with you, so I'm excited to talk to them next. But before I let you go, I wanted to ask you about a challenge you've had. So can you tell me about that, like getting this program started? Have you had any challenges with that?
Oh yeah. It's hard to pick out just one, actually, but I would say the biggest struggle for me was learning how to connect the dots. I feel like in anything in life, it's always just making the connection. You just have to be a little bit mature and wise to see where pieces can fit together. And that was one of the things in the beginning. I didn't know which way to take it. Should this be a program? Should it, I just sell the curriculum? How should I structure the program? So just connecting the dots, figuring out how to best service the students, how to make the program more efficient, the company more efficient, has been one of the biggest challenges. And like I said, I think this year we're finally starting to fine-tune some of those details.
Awesome. Okay. So I know I'm so excited to get to where you're going to show us some things. And I wanted to get you the chance to do this. Okay. And then I'm excited to see what your friends are going to show me too, because you guys have all been working on these like really cool engineering STEMletics stuff. So
yep. So this is one of the technologies that we use in the camp and in our program in general. It's a smart basketball. It has a bunch of sensors.
So normal.
Oh yeah, it's the same size, same weight as a regular basketball. You wouldn't even tell. I ask my students, like, what is this? And they always say it's a basketball. And that's exactly what it is. But it does have different sensors inside. It's wireless charging, so you just throw this on the charger. It charges wirelessly. It has Bluetooth connection, which allows me to connect it to an app. So this ball will tell you all kinds of scientific things about your basketball game, such as the arc on your shot, which is the angle at which you release it, the backspin, which is how the ball rotates in the air.
Wow.
Your release speed, so how fast is it going from your release point to your actual shot, and your dribble, so how many times are you dribbling. So this ball has a lot of technology in it that can help you improve your game. So this is one way that we incorporate the technology piece to show students, there's science behind, the madness.
Wow.
So I love this basketball. I'm so glad that we came across it and that we were able to use it in our program, because it's inspired a lot of students to want to go into engineering and develop their own sports products.
Awesome. So what brand is that, though? Because I'm looking at the lettering and it looks very unique.
It is. So this is actually 9450 basketball.
Okay.
The company that produced it actually went out of business. They went bankrupt.
Oh, man.
So these are very, very rare to find nowadays.
That was going to be my next question. Like, where can I get this basketball?
Yeah. I typically tend to look on eBay. That's probably the best bet that you're gonna find one. But like I said, they're very, very rare. So anytime I see them on eBay, I instantly try to purchase as many as I can, because this basketball, is very, very vital in showing students how technology can be used in sports to not only get better, but you can become an engineer and create sports products and make money that way, instead of saying like going to the NBA or trying to make your way into the NBA. So there's a lot more chance that you can become an engineer than an NBA player.
Yeah, true. And then once you do become an engineer, you can still pursue becoming a basketball, because that would make you even more, or it'd be more profitable to be someone like that, and they would want you and be engaged with what you have to offer, like mathematically, scientifically. So, okay, and I want to ask you, I want to ask my guests about a time in high school, college, where you shined with great effulgence. So, the word effulgent is kind of crazy, right? The word effulgent is an adjective, which means to shine forth brilliantly. Nice. So, if you could just tell me, in a few words about what you've done, I'm going to give you this graduation cap that really helped you shine with great effulgence.
Oh man, this is bringing back flashbacks. But I would say one of my proudest moments in high school is being named one of Michigan's best and brightest out of International Academy of Flint, and graduating salutatorian. So both of those were pretty big accomplishments for me. Something that I set out to do from day one was to be at the top of my class, and it was a blessing to achieve that goal.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jonathan.
Thank you.
You are amazing, and I can only imagine what you're going to do next. So you're going to be doing some great things even after this. You. So,
hey, likewise.
Thank
I love what you're doing with the podcast and everything that you do in the community.
Thank you so much. I'm glad we can make Flint a better place, because we're going to be the generation to keep doing things and innovating.
Definitely. Oh yeah.
So when we come back, we're going to take a quick little break, and we're going to have his other two awesome friends that are working with him in STEMletics. So
we have a great team here, and it's only growing and getting bigger. And these guys are very, very unique in what they can do and bring to the company. So I'm excited to bring them in and see what we do from here.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Stay tuned, everyone. We are here with Rico Terrell, who is also with STEMletics. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say. How are you today? You doing good?
Yeah, I'm doing wonderful today.
Awesome. Yeah. So tell us about who you are and what school you went to. Just give us the breakdown,
Okay, so my name is Rico Terrell. I go to Kettering University. I'm studying mechanical engineering. And actually, I met John and one of his really good friends there. Study business and innovation. I've kind of like seen STEMletics from its beginning. So just seeing how much work John kind of put into the program just always influenced me to get into business too. I know he went through the Kettering Entrepreneur Society. That was really big, starting from the grant process. And I've always done cooperative education, more towards engineering, work with AC/DC motors.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't have a lot of people that inspired me to get into engineering. With John in the program STEMletics, I kind of saw that it was an opportunity for other kids to kind of see how STEM, math, and science can actually be applied, even if you do like sports.
That's cool. I'm sure John feels pretty, happy that you are inspired by him. He's probably very happy about that. And I'm glad that you were able to find him. So he's an inspiration to all of us.
Yeah.
So, okay, before we left, he was showing me the basketball that you all use, which is unfortunately not really accessible anymore. But I want to know, how can you teach a kid to play basketball? Get into the logistics if you can.
Okay, all right. So going back to the thing, I remember you guys talking earlier about stats. So say you are on 2K and you're looking at things like, okay, my player plays like 8 games. And if I could show an example.
Yeah, please.
Okay. So my 2K player is playing 8 games. So games played. And they score, we can throw out any number about 40 points over those games. So points scored. And then they get steals. So, and I say they get about 10 steals. So a lot of things that we want to teach the kids is like averages and how you can break this down and look at it at a math side of it. So if you have 40 points that you score over 8 games, simply all you do is teach them 40 divided by 8. It kind of like seems like basic math, but them being able to connect the dots, like, oh wow, I can actually use the math for other things, can kind of like has a rolling effect. So we teach a lot of kids the basics starting there, and it's like, afterwards and they learn the basics with the game, we have them take their own scores and their own points. So
cool.
with the smart basketball, if you're actually calculating how many shots a student has, if they have about 20 shots and they miss about 10 of them, then you only make half their shots. You have 50% field goal. Students start connecting the dots, how you actually create that in game.
Awesome. So if you could hold this up, I don't know, hopefully our viewers can see it.
Yeah.
But if not, we can just run down real quick. Oh, yeah, you can see it. Great. Sure. Okay. So explain this one more time so people know what the GPPS and S stands for.
So games played, points scored, steals, but you would use stats that's more based on whatever your sport is. So if you have basketball, maybe they have different acronyms how they use it, or if you have baseball or football, which that's what they're looking towards in the future. But you basically go in, you break it down, show them what the points per game, how you actually get to that. So
interesting.
And a lot of it is actually based towards the curriculum. I know John works heavily with some teachers, and they see what the student is actually studying. So in the past, I've worked with John with middle school students, and a lot of kids, they're just now getting introduced to fractions.
Oh, yeah.
So sometimes they kind of have that block road, like, how do I actually do this? I don't understand. And sometimes they may feel like they want to rage quit. But if you just walk them through the steps, this is how you do this, and everything really repeats. Kind of like you see the light turns on. It's like, oh, wow, this is a lot easier than I thought.
Wow. And do you feel like, I know you're a mechanical engineering student, but do you feel like you've learned something that you've never learned before in school, like from being in STEMletics?
I learned how, I hear there's this really good quote, one, you can learn something and be really smart, but you don't really know something until you can explain it simply.
I like that.
Yes, and taking that skill and showing other kids the same thing.
Okay.
So then if one of your friends is having an issue and you're in STEMletics, well, it's a lot more effective if I can teach you the skill, but then have you teach someone else the skill also.
Right.
Now the student became the teacher.
Yep, that's true. And they say, if you know how to teach it, you know it, it's not enough to kind of just read something or maybe just write it down. Like if you can teach it to someone else and they understand, then you got it. And I'm in pharmacy school, so there's a lot of things I have to do to remember things, and when I can teach it to someone else, I'm like, okay, yes, I got it, good, they understand.
Yeah.
So tell me though, you are thinking about getting into business, you said, right? Do you kind of see yourself getting into business with science or just something completely different?
Well, I've kind of always had this dream of having a business established that is more towards science, but a lot of things, I like patents, I like engineering, and all that just kind of together is really what STEMletics too, because you're teaching kids how to actually pitch an idea. Those are things that I'm learning right now. I started with an online web store, and going from there, just learning a lot of those skills. I do digital specialty, actually applying that. It's just all those skills kind of translate. So.
Wow. Okay. Sweet. So, in your opinion, is basketball your favorite sport, or do you think you have another favorite sport?
All right, so it's kind of weird. So football was probably my favorite sport.
Okay.
My father was always really good at basketball, and baseball was probably my best sport, which was kind of interesting. I was a pitcher then, so having a little hand in everything. I tried soccer, wasn't the best at it, but it was still very enjoyable. So I've tried a little bit of everything, even including wrestling.
Okay. So did you always know, though, that you wanted to go into mechanical engineering?
I would say I really didn't truly know that until about my junior year of high school.
Okay.
So at the school that I was at, it was Illinois Math and Science Academy. A lot of students were there just for math and science.
Okay.
And I just kind of really liked there for the achievement.
Gotcha.
I learned about engineering when I was talking to one of my friends who had graduated. I was like, I think I want to do aerospace engineering. That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
And he said, if you start with mechanical engineering, that's like a tree. If you look at it like that, your trunk of your tree is mechanical engineering. Everything that's like the branches is everything else. So you have aerospace, you have chemical engineers, you just have all type of engineering. So that's why I kind of like the base, because I get to find out what I like, and come to find out I like a little bit of everything.
So what do you think you like more, though? Do you know yet? You have time to think about that. So mechanical engineering, you have a foundation.
Yeah.
Where do you feel like you go?
If I had to choose one concentration of engineering, I really still like aerospace.
Aerospace, okay. I was going to say, I could tell that was something you brought up first. So I feel like that's something you would definitely want to do. What would you want to do with that?
Well, the future right now is everything's moving towards aerospace as a whole. So I've joined Aerospace Club. You never know, Space Force recently happened. but exploration of space as a whole, like mining of material. I know I had a conversation with John earlier. It's just like you never know what can happen with space. It's like endless.
Right.
So.
That's awesome. Well, good luck. I hope you can do something with aerospace and business. Mm-hmm. Who knows? Do you have any ideas?
Right now, STEMletics. So.
Okay. Awesome. So I'm excited to see what you have to do. And I want to ask you too. I asked John, tell me about a time where you felt like you shined with great effulgence. And again, for our viewers, if they don't know, effulgent means to shine forth brilliantly. It's an adjective. I learned it in high school. So I want to give you this graduation cap, and I want you to tell me about a time where you did something really cool in school.
Okay. I would say the day I got accepted to the high school that I was really for about 3 years, always just grinding just to make it to taking ACT, SAT prep classes, took the ACT about 3 times. SAT twice.
Don't miss that.
Yeah, and I had to do this all in 8th grade year and also my freshman year.
Wow.
Students had to score like a standard 1700. And when I got the acceptance letter just to go to the high school, it's just, I felt that's when doors opened up.
Oh, man. I know you were happy. That's incredible. And in 8th grade, you had to take all those tests?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, that's great. So I'm really glad that you're here. I look forward to what you're going to do in the future with STEMletics and mechanical engineering and aerospace engineering. So look out for this guy, Rico Terrell. So we will be back shortly for our last special guest from STEMletics. We are back with our final guest from STEMletics. This is Isaiah Artis. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So, okay, I want to hear all about how you got involved with STEMletics, but first tell me about what you're doing, what you're going to school for.
Okay, so I go to school right now. I go to my community college. I'm a double major.
Okay.
My major is business management, and then I'm getting another degree, just general studies. Okay. And then I came along with STEMletics a couple months ago, about 5 months ago.
Oh, okay. So pretty recent. Are you the most recent to join STEMletics? Or okay.
I'm chief of operations for the company.
Oh, look at you. Okay.
No, not
Excuse
like
me.
that, but no, it's not that. But I came up under John. And so we had met a couple months ago when he was doing a program at Freeman. Okay. And I was teaching the art program. I talk about African American fine art to kids to learn about their history and kind of like how they can invest in it at an earlier age. And then me and him, we bumped heads, realized we had a lot in common. And I loved the program, and I was just like, I want to be a part of this. And, opportunity came up a few months later. Okay. And it's just been work ever since.
Wow. Yeah. So you bumped into him when though? Like when you?
We were at Freeman. We had a class.
Okay, gotcha.
Same
you said
place.
Freeman. Okay.
Yep.
So tell me about your schooling and how you. Okay, you said for me, I'm very right-brained.
No, you're good.
And I'm a right-brain person, so I'm very creative.
Yeah.
And when you said fine arts,
yeah.
It made me think, oh, he might be like me. I mean, I like science, but. Yeah. My love is creativity. So can you tell me a little bit?
We're on the same page right there.
We are. See,
yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah, you already know.
We can relate. So do you feel like that's where your love is, though? Or do you want to combine that?
I've always loved creating, period. Like, business, I've, had several businesses that, I started ever since I was young.
Oh, really?
I believe, my brother and me were 7. I was 7. My big brother, he was 9. And my dad, he was out of work at the time. And we created an advertising business.
Wow.
And it was called 2 Sons, 1 Dad. And so that was my first job when I was 7.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So which other businesses do you have going on though now? You said
right now, I'm doing STEMletics, and then I wrote a book, which will be done soon. Ooh. And then also I started a company called Entrepreneurs, where I teach
it's called
entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I created the term.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
And so it's I teach athletes how to buy and invest in art as an extra source of income.
That's dope. Okay, well, you got started at a young age. Like, you could teach all of us something about business, because I need to learn. I want to potentially do something with business as well.
The best way to learn is by just starting.
Just doing it. That's what they say.
Experience is the best teacher.
And that's what I've done. Just go and do it. Because for me, side note, I like sushi, so I started a little sushi business in pharmacy school. Okay. So as far as the logistics, I feel like I could learn more about it from you, to how to, talk about profits and things like that.
Exactly.
So, okay, I know we've been talking a lot about math.
Yeah.
I know we're creative.
Yes.
But I would love to hear about the Pythagorean theorem and how you use that with STEMletics. Can you explain a little?
I would probably say John would be a better explainer at that part. Okay. I can do the fractions though
let's see that, please.
Okay, so
if you don't mind.
Yeah, writing. For sure. So in the Flint community schools, we realized that a lot of kids struggle academically, and they're about 3 grades behind. And so it's like math is like one of the biggest barriers in Flint schools, period, like just across the city right now. So it's kind of just starting from basics, sadly. But we realize that kids are really great with athletics. So we try to show them how athletics, you can learn mathematics through athletics. And it's not as intimidating as just, throwing a book at the kids and figure out this, problem. So, for instance, I'll do like a free throw percentage.
Okay.
So if we have LeBron James, who is a lot of kids' favorite player of all time.
Yeah, he's doing a lot right now.
Right, it's like kids act like they forgot who Jordan was, but I'm not going to get into that. So LeBron James, let's say he's averaging like 90%. And so we was trying to like explain to the kids, because like they're young. So like last week we had a camp, it was like 3rd to 5th grade. And then this week we're doing 6th to 8th grade. But so just like bare basics. But if LeBron took 10 shots and he made 8 shots made, we would ask the kids what would his percentage be. So the kids, they would take a second and they'll be like, is it 10%? It's like, no. So it's like we would like explain how they would do it, calculate it, and then they would come up with the answer that he made 80% of his shots. That's just a little bit basics one.
Yeah.
But it goes into a lot more depth though, and we start trying to cover salaries too, so they can learn about financial literacy as well.
Oh, good. I'm glad you touched on that piece, because financial awareness is really important, and we didn't learn it in school. I know I didn't.
I wish that they would have taught it more so for mine too.
Yeah. And I feel like our generation, again, can be the ones to innovate and bring that more into schools. So I'm glad you're doing that at the program.
Why not us?
Why not us? And if you could just show our viewers what you wrote on the board, just so that I'm pretty sure they could follow, but just in case they wanted to see. Yeah, if you can just briefly say again. So LeBron James, we use him as an example.
Just as an example.
Yeah.
A lot of the kids' favorite player is LeBron James. And we were saying if LeBron took 10 shots and he made 8 out of the 10, what was his percentage? And it would just be 80%. Yeah. Just trying to teach kids bare basics of mathematics and sports.
That's simple too, that's a really good example to follow. So tell me, what's next for you? So, okay, I do want to talk though about what's next for the camp. Yeah. So you're currently having a camp right now, right? Yep. And when did it start?
It started this Monday.
It just started. Okay. Because I know there was one earlier and there's one now.
Yep.
And it ends on...
This one ends on Friday.
Okay.
Yep, the 24th.
Okay. And what are the kids learning this week for the first week?
So the first week, just like the first 2 days, they had to start, doing the conditioning, getting their bodies right first off. And then we started doing the dribbling. Okay. And that's normally like the first hour. And then the last hour is mathematics and education. And then learning about how to create, invention to help better sports.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome.
And they're making some pretty amazing inventions right now.
Oh, man.
And I know they're excited because they all want to win the seed money for the invention. So
that's awesome.
They're working hard for sure.
I can't wait to see, what they do.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. I'm excited.
I love innovation. I just love it so much. Exactly. Okay, so I want to ask you, though, I wanted to ask the challenges that you faced with maybe school or with STEMletics. Like, have you faced any challenges? Because it's important for people to know what challenges they can overcome, especially as young kids. Because your kids are going to watch this, all 3 of you guys, and they're looking up to you.
For sure.
Yeah.
I would say when I was younger, I didn't believe in myself that much. Okay. And so, because I have a very, creative mindset, it was kind of people, they didn't know how to take that a lot of times. Mm-hmm. And so I had to, realize that my dreams are going to happen regardless. Right. And just because somebody might not believe in it at that moment doesn't mean that's not going to happen, but they're believing in it now.
Right. So that's good.
Just being consistent and believing in yourself and investing in yourself, I would say that's the biggest piece of advice I could ever give anybody.
That's excellent. Persistence is key.
Exactly. I completely agree.
Yeah. So that leads me into the question I've been asking the other two. I'm going to give you this graduation cap, and I want you to tell me about a time in high school or college where you felt like you shined with great effulgence. Okay. And hey, here's the education piece. Were you listening about what it means?
Yes.
Not to put you on the spot. Yeah. I just wanted to know if you know what it means.
It means to educate with brilliance.
Yeah, I like, you know what? I like that better than shining with great effulgence. Educate with brilliance, because that's the whole point of this podcast. Yeah. So you were right. It's, you know, shine forth brilliantly.
A little close. I was close.
You were close. No, that was better though. I like that.
I would say one of the defining moments in my life was when I was at my community college, and I was part of this program, and they had picked me to be a part of it, and they sent me to Tampa, Florida, for this convention, and they wanted me to represent the school.
Oh wow!
So, yeah.
Lucky.
Yeah, it was an amazing trip. I love Tampa.
And how many other kids went?
It was about 5.
Oh wow! Yeah.
5 total.
Very lucky then. Yeah. That's not many that
yeah,
you're special.
It was an amazing opportunity. Made a lot of great connections.
Awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, thank you so much for telling me about what you're doing with STEMletics and what you're doing in the future. I look forward to it.
I appreciate it. It's my pleasure.
Oh, thank you. That's what I'm talking about. Handshake.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you all enjoyed this episode. This has been Erin on Education. We'll see you next time.